Hi everyone, it's Legend Man here, and in this lecture we are going to build this automation of LinkedIn connection request with hyper-personalized copy. Imagine you have a list of prospects that you want to connect on LinkedIn via hyper-personalized copy. This workflow will be very helpful to you. So we are first of all sourcing the data from this Google Sheet, which is the prospect that you want to connect to on LinkedIn. Then we are using browser flow to check that if that prospect is already connected with us or not. If they are not connected with us, we want to send a connection request, right? That's where we are going to enrich that prospect from the LinkedIn data point. So we will get their name, about, tagline, where they are working for, their education, their experience, everything. Then we are going to use ChatGPT to come up with hyper-personalized LinkedIn note message. So this is what our prompt will look like, and this will be the output. Hi Manthan, I admire your work at Acquisition X and your courses on AI agent. With our shared interest in automation, let's connect together. And then we are going to use browser flow to send them a connection request with this note or with this message. Here you can see in the result. Alrighty, here we are. The first node we can use is schedule a trigger. For instance, if you want to start automating this at 9 p.m. or 9 a.m., you can use this schedule trigger. But in this example, as we are just testing, we will trigger this manually. Then what we want to do is we want to source our data from Google Sheet. You can use Airtable, HubSpot, whatever you are using. So let's add Google Sheet. So we want to get rows from our Google Sheet. Let's connect our Google Sheet and sheet number 1. After that, we want to apply a filter of LinkedIn connection is empty. If it is yes, we don't want to trigger this automation again. Alright, I hope this makes sense. Nothing crazy. We want this column to be empty, then and then this workflow will start. If it is yes, we don't want to start this automation. So we will use add a filter. We will match the column of LinkedIn connection sent and leave it as it is, empty value that we have inside our Google Sheet. So let's test our step. Awesome. So we have the first name, last name, and the prospect's LinkedIn URL. Let's spin this data. Next, we want to check that if this prospect is already connected with us or not. So that's why we're going to use browserflow.io. So go to Google and search for browserflow.io. Scroll down, and yeah, there are 5 different options available. We want to get LinkedIn profile data, get profile from LinkedIn search, etc, etc. But we want to use this one, which is send LinkedIn connection invite. So let's get started and log in or sign up with your Browserflow account. Browserflow.io is actually best because it does not use any LinkedIn session cookie of your account. So that's why your account is kind of more safe as it is more on the cloud side. Then go to this URL, which is app.browserflow.io, then LinkedIn setup. Now connect your LinkedIn account here. Then we need to install a community node of Browserflow inside our N8N account. So click on your profile, click on settings, go to community nodes. Here we need to install Browserflow node. Click on install and use this package name, which is n8n/nodes/browserflow. Click on this and click on install. So now let us go back to our workflow and then let us search for Browserflow. Browserflow for LinkedIn. So what we want to do is, first of all, we want to check that if this prospect is already connected with us or not. Yeah, so we can use the first option, which is check if a person is connected or not. Here, paste your API key that you will get from Browserflow. So in order to get the API key, click on account settings, copy your API key, paste it here, and boom, you have connected your Browserflow account with N8N workflow. Then we want to drag and drop the LinkedIn URL of that prospect. Then let us click on test tab. I'm using my second dummy account to test this scenario. Awesome, we have the output here, but the only 3 things we need is these 3 messages. You are not connected, connection is false, which means you are not connected, and obviously it is not pending since you are not connected. So let us spin this data. Now we can use this if condition, because sometimes if you are already connected with that prospect, we don't want to execute this workflow. So we can drag and drop this condition first of all of connection. Go to Boolean and we want to say is equal to false. Then we can use another condition of this pending. Sometimes you are already connected, but it is in the pending list. So again go to Boolean equals to false. If this condition is true, which means that if this prospect is not connected with us, then and then only we want to execute the rest of the workflow. So go back and we will have 2 branch, right? So if it is true, we want to first of all enrich the prospect so that we can use that enriched data to create hyper-personalized LinkedIn note by using our AI. So again, we are going to use browser flow for that, which is to get data from the LinkedIn profile. Let us click on execute previous node, and we need to drag and drop the LinkedIn URL of our prospect. Then click on test tab, and we will get every single data point available on the LinkedIn profile. Awesome, we have enriched our prospect. So we can use this information like about us, tagline, the current experience in order to give this data to AI to create hyper-personalized LinkedIn note. So let's spin this data, and yeah, if it is false, if a prospect is already connected, we don't want to do anything. So even if you leave it empty, it is okay. So now we have this data. We can use a basic LLM model or basic LLM chain in order to create hyper-personalized LinkedIn note for us. So let's open this, and we can say you have these inputs, for example, the name. Let's drag and drop their name here. The LinkedIn bio, which is the about. Then we can also use the LinkedIn tagline. Lastly, we can also use their experience or where they are working right now, most recent experience. So scroll down. Inside experience, we can use their company name and their job title. So if we scroll down, acquisition X, full-time as GTM partner. Awesome. So these are just inputs that we have fed to our LLM model. Now we can give the prompt on what type of messages it needs to create. Here we can use Claude in order to come up with this prompt as well as the system fill prompt. For example, this one. Alright, so we don't want to write anything on our own. We are going to use AI for that. So copy this screenshot or screenshot this, go to Claude. As well as what we can do is we can simply just copy this entire workflow, copy this and paste the workflow here so that it will have all the data on what we are doing inside our N8N workflow. We can use this prompt, which is need help with creating better prompt for personalized LinkedIn connection note request. Then we can say use Brave Search and Firecall MCP to find out the best LinkedIn connection node or templatize. So we are going to use these MCP servers to give our Claude access to the internet so that it can find out the best LinkedIn connection template so that we can use them inside our prompt. So it will search the web by using Brave Search. It will find out all the best LinkedIn connection message template. Same goes for Firecall, and it will come up with this amazing prompt. So let us copy this prompt and let's paste inside here. So these are some few best guidelines on creating personalized LinkedIn connection request messages. Yeah, next we can also use this system message prompt. So let's go to Claude and let's say system message prompt as well. So let's copy this, and you can see keep message under 300 characters to respect LinkedIn's limitation. As you might know, if you are sending a LinkedIn connection note, there is only 300 word limitation. That's why you can use this Brave Search as well as Fire Search MCP to give your Claude access to the internet so that you don't have to define all of this manually inside your prompts. Yeah, so we can use this system fill prompt as well. Now let us click on test tab. Awesome, here is the output. Hi Manthan, I admire your work at Acquisition X and your courses on AI agent. With our shared interest in automation, let's connect together. So you can use this type of hyper-personalization so that it does not feel like to the other person that you're using one-side fit-for-all copy to connect with them. It is hyper-personalized according to our prospect. So here will be the output. We can use this output to send them a connection node. So we are going to use browser flow again, which is to send them a connection node or a connection invite. And we can enable this message. Yeah, so let us drag and drop this message. And for URL, scroll down, and here is the URL. Now once you click on test tab, it will actually send a connection node with this message. So we don't want to send out thousands of connection nodes at a time. Therefore, we can use a loop as well as a wait condition. So we can add a loop here. Loop basically means it will only take one prospect at a time. It will wait for 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever time duration you want to wait before sending the second connection request with this node. Because as you might know, LinkedIn is kind of strict. So we don't want to mess up with our account. Yeah, so let us connect with this loop. And once we have sent out a connection request, let's use this wait. So we want to wait, let's say, for 50 minutes. And then we want to send another connection node with a request. So that's how we can use this loop and wait condition in order to decrease the chance of getting your account banned. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this workflow. But one thing we are forgetting is once we have sent the connection request, we do want to update our Google Sheet by saying yes. So we can add Google Sheet here. So what we want to do is we want to update an existing row, right? So we can use this option of update rows in a sheet. Let's select our Google Sheet and we have to select the column to match on. In this example, we can use the LinkedIn one, LinkedIn URL. We can update the URL here and then we want to say yes. Awesome. So once we have sent out the request, it will reflect yes to all the prospect leads. Alright, I hope this makes sense. Nothing too crazy. Just we want to make sure that we have actually sent out the connection request and we want to easily see and skim and scan inside our Google Sheet. That's why we are adding this last node here. You can use a schedule trigger, for example, send out the connection node or start this workflow at 9 AM so that you don't have to manually start it every single time. Again, this workflow will be in the research section, so make sure to check it out. Just simply click on import from file and upload the file that is in the research section. That's all from my side, and if you have any question, do let me know. My DMs are always open. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This is the best cold DM copywriter agent that will write your email copies or LinkedIn automation messages for any niche as well as for any use case. Imagine this example. We have the basic company description and company information as well as we have the job title. Even with these low data points, it will create a hyper-personalized copies for our individual. Let's test it out and let's see the result first, and then we will talk about the workflow. Yeah, here we are using this AI agent, and then it will update our Google Sheet with an icebreaker or hyper-personalized copy. Hi Manthan, I have been following your work at Lead Gen Man. You can see it has added my company name. It is truly inspiring how you are changing B2B lead generation and AI automation. Given your role as both AI automation specialist and Udemy instructor, I want to personally invite you to our speaking event of AI automation or blah blah blah. So I hope you got my point. In this example, let's say I am conducting an online webinar of AI automation, around AI automation. And I want to reach out all the 500 top AI leaders in this industry. So you can get this data from Apollo, Epify, whatever the ways that we have taught before in this lecture. I'm not going to show that how you can source or how you can scrape this data. We have so many lectures before, but I want to focus more about creating that hyper-personalized copies that you can use for your cold email as well as your LinkedIn message. And I want to hyper-personalize message for each individual. For instance, their job title, where they are working for, their company description, and etc. etc. You can use as many data points as you like inside this AI agent. But even with this less amount of data points, we are still able to create that hyper-personalized messages or cold DM that we just saw here. You can see my job title as well as my Udemy instructor, since I have my courses on Udemy. Yeah, you can use the same agent for any use case. Let's take another example of, let's say you have a gym product and you want to reach out to all gym owners. You can use the same agent. You just have to change the prompt according to your ICP as well as according to your product and services. Same goes for dental product. Imagine you are selling a dental product or your client is selling a dental product. You can reach out to all the dentists in your local area or wherever you want by using this cold DM copywriter agent. Yeah, so there are so many examples I can take here. The sky's the limit. Another example could be podcast. If you want to reach out to all the marketing expert or GTM expert and you want to host them on your podcast, you can use this type of agent to create that hyper-personalized copy. Yeah, so there are so many examples. I don't want to bother with examples, the sky's the limit here, but I just want to emphasize that you can use this copywriting agent for any use case or example. Alright, so let's build this agent from scratch and I will see you in new anytime workflow. The first node will be obviously the trigger node. In this example, we are triggering it manually, but you can use schedule trigger, or once new row has been added inside your Google Sheet, it will trigger your workflow. But right now we are going to use this one, which is manually. Next, we want to source the data from our Google Sheet. So we will search for Google Sheets, and what we are doing is we want to get rows from our Google Sheet. So select this option, select your Google Sheet account and your Google Sheet. Let's test this step. So we have the first name, last name, the LinkedIn URL, the title, and the company description. Yeah, so the icebreaker is empty. We will use AI agent to generate that icebreaker. Next, I will show you an amazing option to clear the company name. For instance, we don't want to reach out to saying them, hey, I saw your work at Lead Gen Men Limited. They will know that we are using automated DMs. So what we will do is we will use cleanup field to clean the company title. For example, some company have apple.int or I don't know, retail holdings. So we want to clear that holding, int, limited, etc. from the company name so that our message seems personalized and not AI generated. So we are going to use edit fields for them. And again, it's for free. You don't have to pay OpenAI a single penny to clean the company name. Here we are giving the name as company name, and this is the formula. This formula will be in the resource section, so don't worry, you don't have to type it out on your own. So again, just to give you what we are doing is, we have the company name, right? From here, I'm just adding the value here. And then what I'm saying is, replace all this limited corporation, LLC, company, group holdings, etc. and just give the output of the company name, which is Lead Gen Men. Here you can see the input is leadgenmen.limited, but we will use this Lead Gen Men in our email copy as the output. Yeah, so that's how you can clean up the company names without spending any single penny. Let us click on Test tab, and we have the beautiful clean company name, which is Lead Gen Men. Next, we will use AI agent to create hyper-personalized copies for reaching out to them. So obviously we want to define the prompt below. So let's open it. For instance, I'm taking example that I'm hosting an online webinar around AI automation and I want to reach out to all AI automation experts on LinkedIn. So I'm saying generate a friendly and direct icebreakers for a personalized email invitation. The message should be within 250 words. It should end with figure I reach out. Here you can say, for example, cheers and then your name, or best and then your name, whatever you like. But I'm using this ID to reach out. Then reference specific details from the person's LinkedIn profile and company. Obviously, we written in engaging and professional tone. Now, as we mentioned here, reference specific details. So we have to add all of these details inside our prompt. We can add their first name, their company description, their company name, and the job title. And here you can see I'm using this company name, which is Lead Gen Men and not Lead Gen Men Limited. After that, we have to add in the prompt why we are reaching out to them or what is the reason. So in this example, as we are conducting a conference focused on AI automation, we are reaching out to them. So if you are, let's say, if you are reaching out to gym owners, if you are reaching out to real estate owners, just rewrite the prompt as per your use case or as per your conditions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we want to say, generate the output in specific JSON format only. For instance, return only a JSON object with a single icebreaker by containing the personalized message. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's connect the model. We can use OpenAI. You can use Claude. I think Claude is actually the best in order to create these hyper-personalized messages. And for model, we can use GPT-4o. Yep, this one. So let's test our step and see what is the result. And if it is not in perfect JSON format, we will use output parser for that. Yeah, you can see it is writing with JSON. But yeah, the icebreaker is really good. Hi Manthan, I had my eyes on the innovation stride that you are making at the company. Then it is also adding my job title here, which is AI automation specialist and educator. Again, you can write way better copy than this. All you need to do is just add specific things as you like as per your copy and you're good to go. I'm just showing you this as an example to open up your mind because the sky's the limit here. There is no perfect one size fit for a workflow or agent. It is always that reiterative feedback loop that will make your workflow better and better. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. So what we can do is right now it is not in structured format. So we want to have the output in this specific format. So we can use output parser for that. We can use the structured one. So let's clear this and we want to have only icebreaker. Open double curly brackets and in quotation mark we have icebreaker and this is the response or the message generated by OpenAI. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now let's test our step again. Yeah, it is pretty good. As you can see, we can easily drag and drop this entire message inside our Google Sheet, as well as it is also adding new lines so that it is not writing everything in just one single paragraph. Yeah, now let's add this to our Google Sheet. So what we want to do is we want to update rows in our Google Sheet. And yeah, you can also click on this button so that it will open your Google Sheet on its own, so that you don't have to find Google Sheet from your Google account. And for mapping column, we can map it from LinkedIn URL. So drag and drop the LinkedIn URL from Google Sheet. And all we want to update is the icebreaker. Awesome. Let's click on test. And here we go. And you can see it has added new lines. Hi Manthan, I came across your impressive profile on LinkedIn and immediately struck by the innovative work that you are doing at this company. And since you are expert and Udemy instructor, I believe your insights on intelligent workflows and personalized email sequence would offer immense values to our audience. And now it will say why we are reaching out to them, which is we are hosting this conference and we like to invite you to our conference as a speaker. Yeah, so you can use this type of hyper-personalized copies to reach out to all 500 top AI leaders in your space. Again, this cold DM agent will work for any use case. And yeah, since we can have multiple rows, right now I'm just using one row, we can have multiple rows, let's say 500 rows. So we can use a loop. Loop basically means it will only perform icebreakers for one row at a time. So let's loop this, and once it is finished, it will come back again to the second row, third row, etc. etc. Yes, I know this workflow is small, but still it is super powerful and impactful. And yes, this workflow can be integrated to all the workflows that we have built before. So to show you some example, in this ultimate lead generation agent, we can include this workflow here. Instead of icebreakers, we can use all of this information and create this another type of icebreakers like this. So again, I'm showing you this just to open your mind because the sky is the limit here. And yes, this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. That's all from my side, and if you have any question, do let me know. My DMs are always open. Bye bye, take care, and I hope you're having an amazing time here. This is inbound lead qualification and enriching agent. Once our inbound lead will fill out our form at our website, it will collect their full name, website, their email address, and their LinkedIn profile. So that form will trigger our workflow here. It will first of all go to their website and scrape all the information available there at individual level. Once we have where they are working, we will enrich the company by using their company LinkedIn profile. After that, we will go to the company's website or domain and we will scrape data from that. And then we will feed all of this information to our AI agent. We will say to our AI agent, hey, you have this data. Is this lead right fit for us, or they can work with us or not? So it will generate an output like this. Is this lead qualified or unqualified? Then the score 1, which means they are qualified. If 0, they are unqualified. And the reason why this lead is right fit for us or not. This lead is a B2B lead generation agency which fits with our lead generation SaaS or marketing industry. Alright, so I hope you understand the importance of this N8N agent. For instance, if you are getting 500 inbound leads per month, I don't want you to waste your time enriching and prospecting as well as qualifying each leads and making them, is this lead right fit for us or not. So this AI agent will do everything without you having to lift a finger. So let's go back to Blackboard and see what we are doing here, and then we will start building this N8N workflow from scratch. Our N8N workflow will be triggered once inbound lead will form our type form. Here you can use Google form or whatever form that you want to use, feel free to use it. We are collecting their name, their email address, their LinkedIn profile, and their domain or their company domain where they are working for. Next, what we want to do is, first of all, we want to enrich our lead, our inbound lead. So there are basically two types of enrichment. First, personal level enrichment, and second is company level enrichment. So first of all, we will enrich our inbound lead on a personal level. That means enriching their LinkedIn profile. Here we are using Epify for all of this enrichment because I think Epify is really great at 1/10 of the price for other like data sourcing or data provider. And you can use the code 25Manthan in order to get 25% discount on all Epify plans. Alright, so coming back to the point, here we will have all the personal label data that we need. Then what we want to do is we want to enrich the company LinkedIn URL. Again, we are going to use Epify for that. Company LinkedIn. So from company LinkedIn, we can source number of employees, their industry, their about us page, and we can feed all of this data to our AI agent saying that, hey, you have this data. Is this inbound lead right fit for us or not? So just qualify them on 0 to 1. 0 means unqualified, 1 means qualified, and give the reason why you say so. I can use number of employees. For instance, we are B2B agency and we work only with those companies who has more than 50 plus employees. So we can easily fill this information into our AI agent. If number of employees is less than 50, don't qualify our agent. Don't qualify our inbound lead. Number of employees, about us page, etc. etc. After that, we also want to analyze and gather data of our inbound leads website. Again, we are going to use Epify for that. So we'll basically scrape all the things that is available on that web data or web page. And then we are going to collect all of this information, put it out to our AI agent and say qualify our lead. So all of this information will go to our AI agent, and once AI agent will qualify the lead or unqualified, it will reflect that information back to our Google Sheet. Alright, so that's what we are going to do in this lecture, and this is the flow of our workflow. That's all for our Blackboard. Let us go to N8N interface and let's start building it from scratch. Here we are inside our N8N workflow. So I have renamed my agent as inbound lead qualification and enrichment agent. So first of all, the trigger node will be obviously any form. It can be type form, Google form, or I don't know how many forms are there. Yeah, teleform, whatever you like. So in this example, I am using type form. So search for type form, and Typeform has an inbuilt native app inside N8N, which is Typeform Trigger. Connect your Typeform Trigger account. So let us go to Typeform, sign up or log in with your account, and let us create a new form. So this is the inbound info form where we are collecting their full name, website, email, LinkedIn profile, goals they have, the problem they are facing, current number of leads. So these are like customization. It can be according to your use case or website. Your business. Therefore, after building our Typeform, we need to add credentials of our Typeform. So we can go to our profile and go to apps and integration. There might be native N8N integration in Typeform. So search for N8N. Yeah, so there are no native app. So we will need to add our personal token. So go to your settings, go to personal tokens and create a new token. Give all scope and generate the token. Copy that token link and paste the access token here. Then click on save and then let us select our form. So my form name is inbound info. So if we go back, inbound info is the name of my form. And we want to simplify the answers. Then let's disable this because we also want the questions. And now let us test step. So it is actively listening. Let us fill out this form. Manthan Patel. Why we are filling out this form? Because we have some payload or pay data so that we can play around for rest of our node. Then my email manthanp@acquisitionx. And the problem I am having is I am not getting any leads. My goal is to having 20 plus leads per month. And don't worry, we will have all of this Typeform submission stored inside our Google Sheet at end of our workflow. Here you can see we are storing all of this information as well. So current number of leads, 1, goal, problem, etc. etc. The current number of leads are, let's say, 1 or 2. Yeah, I do have a team and I want to start within just next week. So right now it's 23rd April. I want to start on 30th April. Awesome. So once we have submitted this form, it should trigger our N8N workflow. Here you can see node executed successfully. So let's open this and we have the payload here with the answers and the question. Awesome. So let's spin this data so that we don't have to submit the form again and again. Now, if you can remember from our Blackboard, we need to enrich our prospect. So there are two types of enrichment. First, personal, and second is company. So we'll go for the personal one. Again, we are using Apify to enrich both at person level and company level. So how we are going to connect Apify with our N8N? By using HTTP request. So let's rename this to as profile scraping. Let's go to Apify, log in or sign up with your account, and you can use the promo code to get 25% off on any plans. Alright, so let's come back to the point. I'm using the $39 plan and it is working just fine. So what we want to do here is we want to first of all scrape the profile level details, and obviously we don't want to add any cookies or any session of our LinkedIn URL, so we can use this one, API Mistro. So in order to fill out all of this detail, we need to understand the API documentation. So let's go to API endpoints, scroll down, and what we want to do is we want to run our actor synchronously and get the dataset item. So the method is post and this is the URL. So we will select the method post, and for URL, we need to enter our token here or our Apify API key here. So this is my API key and this is the URL. So where you can find this API key, I will show you. Let's go to console, click on settings, click on API integration and create new token from here. Copy that token, paste it here. Let's enable this body. We want to define our JSON manually. So click on expression and we have the username. So in username, we will just simply need to add the URL of our inbound lead, which is the LinkedIn profile. Now let us click on test tab. Yeah, so we have all the information, their headline, their about, their location where they are working from, their education, etc, etc. Yeah, so we can pin this data and we will use this information, for example, their title, their company, and how long they are working for at that company, which is the duration. As well as we can get their location, any data points that you like. So next thing we want to do is we want to go to the company's LinkedIn URL and scrape any available data points, if any. So again, we are going to use Apify for that. So we can use HTTP request. Let's rename to company scraping. Now let us go back to Apify to find out all of this documentation or which actor we can use. So we are done with the LinkedIn one. So search for LinkedIn company, and yeah, so there are too many. We can use this bulk LinkedIn company profile scraper with no cookies. Always make sure that you are not adding your own cookie, otherwise there is a high chance of getting your LinkedIn profile banned or suspended. So let's go to API documentation to read all of this. So scroll down. We want to run our actor synchronously and get the data items. Again, the method is post and this is the URL. So the method is post and this is the URL. My API token and the URL. And in body, again, we just want to send out the company's LinkedIn URL. So let's open this, and yeah, so this is the company LinkedIn URL. I have used this one, so I will show you where you can find this. Let's remove this. So in profile scraping, their first experience will be where they are working right now. So under experience, experience 0, and this is the company LinkedIn URL from here. You can also source this data from the type form we have created, but in this example, I am going with the LinkedIn profile. Let's test this step. Great, we have all the information, their follow account, the employee, the industry, and the about us page. So we will use this about us page, the industry, to feed this data inside our agent. So let's pin this data. And next what we want to do is we want to go to their website, the company website, and scrape available data from there. Again, we are going to use Apify, and how we are going to connect Apify with our N8N by using HTTP request. Search for HTTP. Let's rename to web scraping. Let us go to Apify to find out the right actor for this job. Website scraping content. Yep, we can use this one, which is Six Sigma. Let's go to the API documentation. The method will be post and this is the URL. Method is post and for URL with my API key or API token. Now in body, we want to send out simply the website detail. or the website link. Sorry, click on expression, open this. So this is our prospect's company website. Let us test this step. Alrighty, so we have the domain and the text available on the website. Yeah, so we are done with the enrichment process. First of all, personal level enrichment and company level enrichment. Now it's time to feed all of this data to our AI agent. So let us use AI agent for that. Let us connect the model first of all, OpenAI. Let's go back to agent and we want to define the prompt manually. So let us click on expression and we can say inside prompt, here is all the data. For example, the business website, company LinkedIn URL and website content. So first of all, let us include this, which is the website content data. The industry is, scroll down and we can find the industry from here, because I think industry is very important. So that's why our AI agent can qualify in much better way. And the company LinkedIn or company about us page. Company LinkedIn about us section is this one. So scroll down and yeah, we can use this description. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We have a lot of data so that our AI agent won't make a single mistake. Awesome. Now we do need to output in a perfect format that we are looking for. For example, we only want this information, the status, score and the reason. So we have to give a system field prompt. So let's use a system message. So let's open it. And this is the prompt that I am using. Again, this prompt is written by ChatGPT. So just you have to give your criteria or your ICP behavior. For example, I only want to work with lead generation SaaS, marketing SaaS or sales SaaS. And the available data that is given to you is, I don't want to use form data submission, the LinkedIn profile information, company LinkedIn profile and the company website content. And yeah, you have to be very strict with the output because you are giving in 0 and 1, qualified or unqualified and the reason. So this will be the output. We will get only this output. Awesome, so let's test this. Yeah, I think we are pretty good. That's all we want to add. Yeah, but let's spin this data so that we don't have to run our Apify actor again and waste our credits. And if we don't get the output in this specific format, we will use output parser from tools. Let's see. Because there is a lot of data, it will take some time to process. Awesome. So we have the result here, which is in JSON, status and the reason. Here you can see we cannot use this information, right? Sorry, we cannot easily just drag and drop this information inside our Google Sheet. But you can see the status is qualified, score is 1 and the reason. Yeah, obviously we are a marketing and lead generation agency. That's why it will obviously qualify us and give us a score of 1. So we can use specific output format only. So let us enable this required and we can connect an output parser. Click on it and we can use the structure one. So we can say we only want output in this format and nothing else. Here is the structure that we want, which is the status, score and the reason. That's it. And that is why we use structure output parser in order to get the desired output that we are looking for. So let's test our agent again. Yeah, so we can easily just map this field into a Google Sheet, the status, score and the reason. Much better. And now it's time to add all of this information to our Google Sheet. Search for Google Sheet and what we are doing is we are adding rows inside our sheet. That's why we select this option. Select your sheet. In my example, inbound lead qualification and sheet number 1. So you do need to map these fields individually. So I will do that because I don't want to waste your time. So just use the status, score and the reason and map all of these fields from the type form. Alright, I hope this makes sense. And once you are done, let us test our workflow. Awesome, it is successful. You can see the status is qualified, score, the reason, and all of this information that we have added. So that's how you can qualify your inbound leads, because I am getting a lot of inbound leads. Like around 300 or 400 people are just submitting the form on my website. So I don't want to waste my time as well as my team's time to manually qualify each prospect. So you can use this type of workflows and agents to streamline your operation and improve your business efficiency. That's all from my side. If you have any question regarding this agent, feel free to ask us in the community, as well as my DMs are always open. Again, this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. I don't want you to build it from scratch. You can just simply copy this file and paste it inside your N8N account from import for file, and you will have this workflow in just a second. So bye bye and take care guys, and I hope you are having an amazing time here. Hi guys, it's Manthan here and I'm really excited for this lecture. Why? Because I have built this ultimate lead generation AI agent that took me more than 7 days, but it's totally worth it. So before talking, let me show you what are the results or what we are going to build in this lecture. This is the ultimate lead generation AI agent, and I know it's pretty huge and complex, but trust me, it is very easy once we break down each module. First thing what we are doing here is we are finding out the LinkedIn profile just by inputting the keywords that you are going after and the location that you are going after. After that, we are going to enrich our prospect at both personal and company level. We are going to find out the email address, phone numbers, website, company name, and once we have the company name, we are going to find out or enrich more about company. For example, the number of employees, industry type, the company description, is this company right fit for us or not, and then we are going to qualify those leads, right? For example, if on the scale of 1 to 10, is this lead more than 5, then we will only add those qualified leads to our campaigns. We don't want to deal with low qualified leads. So we have built this reg agent that will automatically qualify leads according to your ICP or your given criteria. After that, we are generating icebreakers, personalized and unique icebreakers to each of prospect, so that our email copies are always unique and we are not just simply spamming our email copies. Once we have this data, we are going to simply just add them to our smart lead campaign as well as to our LinkedIn campaign by using HeyRich without you having to lift a finger. All you need to do is just simply input the keyword and the location that you are going after. So yeah, let me test it first of all. So in this example, I am using software developers in San Francisco, right? So I'm taking 3 examples and let us click or let us test our workflow. So I don't have anything in my Google Sheet. I don't have anything in my smart lead campaign. Same goes for HeyRich campaign. See, all you need to do is just sit back and relax and let this AI agent work on its own. Now it is going to enrich the company name. Here we are taking 4 examples or 4 prospect leads. So right now there are 2 items, then we have 3 items, and last prospect which belongs to 4 items. Then we are going to use drop contact to find out the email address, phone numbers, literally everything about that prospect that we can find out. So we are using drop contact, but you can use find emails, you can use Prospeo, you can use Apollo, whatever that you like. As you can see, we are able to first find out the prospect first name, full name, their LinkedIn profile, their email address, as well as the email verification. We are only using valid emails and not catch-all or not valid. Then we are able to find out the company name, company website, company location, company LinkedIn URL, and number of employees. So we are just simply adding all of this data that we have found from drop contact to our Google Sheet. So we have number of employees, we have company LinkedIn URL, their website, company name, company website, company size. Yeah, so just wait for 4 prospect to get enriched by drop contact. And then what it will do is, if it is able to find out the company LinkedIn URL, it will perform this action, which is to enrich by using company LinkedIn URL. But in some cases, if our prospect does not have any company LinkedIn URL, what it will do is it will go to their website and then enrich the company from there. One another thing inside N8N I want to mention is it execute in hierarchical format. So what I'm trying to say is, since we have these 2 blocks, right? So it will give chance to first block first, and then if first block is not able to find out anything, then and then only it will give chance to the second block. So if we place this block right above to this one, to our first one, it will give chance to this block first, right? So this is how your modules or this is how your blocks execute inside N8N. So it performs in a sequential format. Sometimes drop contact might take some time because the API might be busy, but most of the times it is able to find out within 5 to 10 seconds. Our second prospect is being enriched, and let's see the results. So we have the full name, LinkedIn URL, job title, their website, which company our prospect is working, the phone number, but in this case we are not able to find out their email address because it was not valid. and we are filtering out only valid emails. Yes, you can enrich thousands of prospects with the same workflow, but in this example, we are doing only 4 prospects because there is some glitch or there is some problem with the drop contact API, and that's why it is taking so much time. So that's why I have only used like 4 prospects. So let's say if you want to build a lead list of 100 prospects. So what you need to do is just change this slice from 4 to 100. Or if you want to, let's say 10,000, just change that slice to 10,000. Awesome. So now let's wait for the last prospect to get enriched. And there you go. Our fourth or our last prospect also been enriched. And now we are running through if configuration or if condition. For instance, if we are able to find out the company LinkedIn URL, it will perform this. But if company LinkedIn URL is not present and we are able to find the website, it will perform this execution. But since most of our prospect will have company LinkedIn URL, it is executing this workflow. And all the company LinkedIn URL has been enriched. Now it will perform reg execution, or it will qualify the leads, like either they are bad lead or good lead. Then it will generate icebreakers for each unique leads and it will add to our Google Sheet. So once our data has been added to Google Sheet, it will add to our smart lead campaigns. Oops, I actually only ran from smart lead campaigns. This is like Hey Rich campaign, but it's alright. It will work fine for the Hey Rich as well. So let us go to our Google Sheets. And as you can see, it has added this 4 prospect with the title, and we are able to find out 3 emails. Unfortunately, we are not able to find out the second prospect email because whatever reason, email might not be valid or invalid. Then we have the company LinkedIn URL, the company or number of employees, first name, last name, company size. Here, company name, qualification grade. It is very important. We are only targeting those prospects who fit into our ICP or who fits into our given criteria. As well as we are grading our prospect and assigning them a potential, low, medium or high. After that, we have the company description, the company industry, where the company is located at, their specialties if any new updates. So we have this article, which is Capital One AI. Capital One AI is the company name. Then personalized icebreakers for each prospect. And you can see lead edits to cold email outreach tool. Unfortunately, I didn't train it for Hey Rich, but that's alright. You will have this workflow in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. So let us go to our smart lead campaigns and let us click on refresh. Our prospect has been added into our smart lead campaigns. So we have the email, the first name, last name, the company LinkedIn URL and the LinkedIn profile. I'm just adding my first prospect inside my email campaign. You can do that for the second, third, fourth, etc. etc. Same goes for the Hey Rich or whatever tool that you are using for LinkedIn campaign. For example, you can use La Growth Machine or LGM, Hey Rich, whatever you like. Awesome guys, so this is our entire workflow. Again, I'm repeating what our workflow is doing. It will first of all build the lead list according to your keyword and the location that you're going after. Once we have the lead list, it will enrich those lead leads or prospect. After that, it will qualify those prospect. For instance, in this example, we are targeting software developers or software engineers. If our prospect does not fit our ICP, it won't add them to our email campaign. Alright, now let me walk through each node inside this workflow so that you can understand and you can build this on your own. The reason I'm not building it from scratch because it takes like more than 5 to 6 hours to just record this entire video. And I don't want you to waste your time because you don't want to build this from scratch. This workflow will be in the resource section, so all you need to do is just import this workflow into your N8N account and you're good to go. Next thing you want to change is the location and the keyword that you're going after. For example, I'm targeting software engineers San Francisco. If you're targeting, let's say, C-level executives in San Francisco Bay Area or London or New York, whatever location that you're going after or whatever keyword that you're going after, feel free to change it here. But do let me know if you want a tutorial that covers everything and everything is built from scratch. I'm happy to shoot 5 to 6 hour content. But the thing is, I don't want you to waste your time. You have to sit back for 5 to 6 hours. But at the same time, you can just simply copy and paste this workflow inside your N8N account. So I don't think it will be a good use for your time. That's why what I will do is I will just quickly go through each module or each node and what the function or what the job role of that node, so that you have understanding of how this workflow is performing. Alright, so let us get started. Let's go back to our whiteboard. We have our ultimate lead gen agent. So here's how our agent will find out the prospect from Google. So once we have our keyword plus location, so in this example, let's say software engineers in San Francisco or SF, right? Once we have a keyword and location ready, we will perform Google search. So in Google search, it will find out top 100 prospect that we are going after. Why 100 only? Because if you, let's say, search anything, I'm searching Manthan Patel. Yeah, I'm actually famous. So it has 10 page, right? And each page has 10 URL or link attached to it. So 10 multiplied by 10, 100. But you might be asking, like, Manthan, you said like we can do this for thousands of leads, but it is only allowing us to, let's say, 100 of leads. You can do that. All you need to do is just duplicate this for 10 times and you will have thousands. For instance, if you want to build a lead list of 2000 prospects, just duplicate this 20 times and you're good to go. But in this example, I'm just using only one block. If you open this, you can see it ran for the first 10 times. So I hope you got my point, what I'm trying to say. So it will go to Google and search for the keyword that we are going after with the location attached to it. Once it performs this Google search, then what we are going to do is we are going to enrich that prospect with their company name. Because as you might know, in order to find out the prospect email, we need the LinkedIn URL, first name and last name, as well as the company name. So since we have the company name, what we will do is we will perform enrichment prospect by using drop contact. We will find out the email, which company they are working for, their website, company LinkedIn URL, and bunch of data. And how we are going to find out the company name? By using Nebula. Nebula.co is a proxy that allows us to perform rich data about people and company without putting our LinkedIn account into any sort of risk. So what Nebula is doing is it is using its proxy or its own API, and it will perform, let's say, company research and prospect research on their platform and on their cloud so that your LinkedIn account is not in risk position. Now we have this data. What we will do is we will put into our RAG agent that will qualify if this prospect is right fit for us or not. If it is right fit for us, it will add them to our outreach campaigns. For example, email, cold email better say, or LinkedIn automation. See, feel free to be flexible with the tools. For instance, if you don't want to use drop contact, right? If you want to use find email, if you want to use Apollo.io or Prospeo, same goes for LinkedIn tool. I'm using HeyRich. You can use LGM, etc. etc. Alright, so this is our flow. Now let us go back to our N8N interface and let us break down each module or each node so that you can get started with your lead generation process. Alright, I will see you there. We are back into our N8N interface and let us get started with the first module. Obviously, the first one will be the trigger. In this example, we are manually testing it. You can assign, let's say, every day at 7 a.m. or every day at 9 a.m. run this entire automation. You can have it there. Then we are going to paginate our entire Google search. So as I mentioned, if you perform any Google search, we have 10 page, right? So we need to make sure that we are having all the links of each page. So it will just separate from 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. I hope you got my point. Then what we are doing is we are performing, don't worry about the loop and wait right now. I will explain why we are adding loop and wait. So we are performing Google search, but how we can do that inside N8N? By using custom search of Google API. And yes, it's free. You don't have to pay a single penny. So all you need to do is just go to this URL. After that, log in or sign up with your Google account and you will be able to see something like this, where simply just click on get a key and you will be able to find out your API key of custom search JSON API. So what it will do is it will scrape out all of the URL from Google for free. So if you open this node, this is for custom search API key. So this will be the URL, as well as if you don't have API key, yes, you can simply copy my API key as well. Yeah, because I don't have to pay anything, you can use my API key as well. You don't need to create anything. The method is get. I'm not speaking this thing on my own. It is all being given inside documentation. For example, this is the get method. Just I have read the documentation so that you don't have to. Next, we want to send out our query parameters. Query parameters basically means which keyword and location you are going after. So in order to call the query, we have to use Q. Q stands for query. And this is where you have to input the value. Let's say if you want to change it to lead generation agency, if you want to target CEOs or C-level executives, just simply replace the query here. Then this is the start and the page number. It will start from page number 1. So where this page number 1 will come? From here, from our last node. From page number 1, it will start, then it will go to page number 2, etc. etc. And that's why we are using loop. The problem with API is, for example, even if we are using, let's say, Nebula API or Drop Contact API, Prospeo API or Custom Search API, there will be an API limit. We cannot call 10,000 API calls within just 1 second. That's why we have to enter wait function. And as you can see, so this function will add a delay of 1 second or wait of 1 second for our entire automation so that we don't face any API limit problems. Even if you open this, right, it is running this operation for 10 times. This is for result number 1, Adrian Lin. For result number 6, Walker Fisher, Sambhavi, etc. etc. That's why we are performing loop. Loop basically means it will go for the first time. If you open loop, right, we have the batch size of 1. So one prospect will go by using our custom search API. It will find out that prospect and we are adding the wait. Then it will go the second prospect, third prospect till the end. And once the loop is done, and you can build multiple lead lists at the same time. For instance, as I mentioned, if you want to perform, let's say, lead generation agency in New York, all you need to do is just change the query and attach the output to this merge module. But in this example, we are only using one module, so that's completely fine. Next, so if we click on tables, you cannot see we cannot use this data, right? We have to make sure that we format it into our right format. That's why this code, what it will do is it will format into titles and links, because that's what we need, right? We don't need any this gibberish or unnecessary data. We only want to get title of our prospect and their LinkedIn URL. That's it. Now once we have a prospect list ready, what we are going to do is we are going to perform company search or get company name of that prospect by using Nebula. So again, go to proxicalnebula.com. It is free to sign up. Feel free to play around. This is where you will be able to find out your API key. So copy this API key. Let us go back to our workflow. Again, we are just using loop. This loop and wait will be pretty common. And it's nothing too crazy, like it's nothing rocket science. It is just to delay our workflow so that we don't hit the API remit call. As you can see, we are doing the same for our drop contact. We are doing the same for our custom search API. Yeah. So again, we are going to introduce the loop, and then one by one for each prospect, we are adding this URL, and inside your API key, just add the API key, enter authorization, and then type in value, type bearer, and then paste your API key exactly like this. All right, bearer space, and then enter your API key here inside the value. Click on save, and then this will be the URL to find out the LinkedIn profile, and then we are simply just adding this link here. Alright, that's all you need to do, and what it will do is it will find out everything about that prospect from LinkedIn. So this prospect has around like 300 followers, their first name, last name, their title, their summary, which country they belong to, where they are right now or which city, after that which company they are working for, the company LinkedIn URL, everything. For example, education background, all of these details. But all we need is which company they are working for, right? And not the education. So we will pull this information, company and company LinkedIn URL. That's it. And even if you want to, let's say, search for another prospect, you can do that. So what Nebula will do is it will enrich those prospects by the LinkedIn URL without putting your LinkedIn into a harm position or any risky position. After that, we are introducing a if condition or a if statement. Why? Because we want to make sure that we only enrich those prospects that we are able to find out the company name. So if this condition is true, then it will execute for the rest of the workflow. But if we are not able to find out the company name, it will add them to this Google Sheet name, no lead found. So it is like a waste or dustbin, like we don't want to deal with this list. But if we are able to find out the company name, we are going to enrich that prospect by using drop contact. So for drop contact, just log in or sign up with your account and copy your API key from here. Copy this. Let us go back to our workflow and just simply paste your API key here. That's it. And what we are doing is the operation obviously enriching our prospect. And these are the fields required. For example, the company name. That's why first of all, we enrich the prospect by their company by using Nebula. So what we are doing is just adding this field here. So all of this thing will be already added inside your workflow. You don't have to deal with anything. And this will be the output. So we are able to find out the email address and the qualification. If it is nominative, the email is valid. We are able to find out the website, their phone number, and number of employees in that company. Alright, I hope this makes sense. And again, this loop and wait thing is but obvious. Now what we want to do is we want to find out more about the company, right? We want to enrich the company. So again, we are introducing an if condition. Let's say we have the company LinkedIn URL. We can easily use and find out by using Nebula. But let's say we are not able to find out the company LinkedIn URL. What it will do is it will go to their website and find out more about the company. The more recommended approach is to find out more about their company by using company LinkedIn URL. Again, we are using Nebula for that. Instead of prospect URL, we are adding company URL, and it will find out the company description, company website, company industry, company size on LinkedIn, then their headquarters, where they're based from, the company type, their specialties, etc. etc. We have a bunch of this data, but we don't need this, right? We only need important information. So what we will do is we will pass out this information to a reg or ICP qualifier. So this is an AI agent and it is a tool call, right? So we have this data, all of this data. What we will do is we will add this prompt, which is the prospect information. So we have the name, the description of the company, the industry, and this is our instruction. So if our prospect matches our ICP data, then qualify them by high, medium, or low, as well as use lead qualification grade. As you can see here in this example, we are qualifying by using grade and the potential, high, low, medium, as well as for grade on the scale of 0 to 10. So it will do this on its own by using the system field prompt that you have attached. So this is like AI lead qualification agent for cold outreach. Feel free to change here. So in this example, what we are doing is I'm just qualifying my leads according to the prospect. For example, is this prospect is the right fit for our school community or not? Alright, so change this prompt as per your ICP or as per your criteria. After that, we are adding a ChatGPT model. I'm using ChatGPT 4 mini. You can use whatever you like. And it will qualify the lead. For example, the lead grade is 8.5 and the potential is high. In this example, the potential is medium, 7.5. It is high, etc. etc. Now again, we don't have any particular formatting for this data, right? It is in text and all of this like quotation and everything. We need to make sure that we are formatting this information. So again, we will use a code for that. So we have this data. What it will do is it will format it in a better way. And since we have this clear and neat format, we can add them to our Google Sheet. After that, it will generate icebreaker for it. Again, it is very important to make sure that our copies are hyper personalized and unique for each prospect. So this is my business USP and this is the prompt. Create an icebreaker starting with, I know you are tired of automated emails. So to prove you this email is not, find something very specific about the web design of the website. Be very specific that like details, like nitty-gritty details on the landing page. And generate one sentence email that we can use as an icebreaker or as a starter in our cold email. And we are making sure that it will return in a single line only. So these are the output. So as you can see, it will generate unique icebreakers for each individual. And once we have all of this filled, we will add them to our Google Sheet. After that, we don't want to manually add these leads to our smart lead campaigns or our LinkedIn campaigns. So what we are doing here is we are creating a HTTP call that will add this prospect to our campaigns. Yeah, so all you need to do is just grab your API key here, give the name API key and paste the value here for your smart lead account. And these are the fields or these are the things that you want to add into your campaign. For example, you want to add the first name, last name, the email, the company name. All of these things you can add inside your smart lead campaigns. And if it is added, it will say yes, lead added to our outreach campaign. Same goes for Hey Reach. This is the URL. This is where you will input your API key. Now one thing you want to make sure is you add your campaign ID here. It will be unique to you. Same goes for your LinkedIn account. Just replace this value with your account. And these are the details that we are adding into our Hey Reach campaign. And if that prospect is added, it will say yes. Alright, so this is our entire beautiful workflow. Again, it might seem complex or big at first, but if we break down like size by size, as you can see, it is very easy to understand. And it's nothing too crazy, right? What we are doing here is we are adding all of this complex process into just one single workflow. We are first of all building the lead list, we are enriching the prospect, we are qualifying the prospect, as well as we are adding those prospects to our outreach campaign. All of these 4 key important process of your entire lead generation, we are performing that inside one workflow. And that's why you are inside our community. And now let us go to our smart lead campaign. In this example, I'm just simply adding. You can write way better copy than this. I'm just giving you a demo. A first name, icebreaker, and the website. So it will say, hey Adrian, I know you are tired. So this is our icebreaker and this is our website. Sorry, our prospect's website. Alright, so this is how you can add these variables inside your smart lead campaigns. That's all from my side. If you have any question, do let me know if you want to build this automation from scratch. Alright, that's all from my side. And again, if you have any question, my DMs are always open. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one.